guys.
Can we take a picture? I gotta stand next to them. Yes, sure. Wow, you're so cute. No, it is a crazy country. I actually worked in healthcare for the last 3 years. We're trying to... Thank you so much.
再叫一半啊！
就这样站，对。Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh wow. Yeah. Oh my god. That's crazy. But then I was still hopeful that it turns out
Fucking Greta Thunberg.
Hey, Sophia! Instagram. How do I find you guys?
What also great responsibility they have that they use it.
Okay. Sounds like
Ja.
I know.
Digga! Warum muss ich da bleiben?
Can you guys give us passage?
Make a circle, guys.
What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! Thanks for joining Vanessa here. What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! Can't hear you. What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! Wonderful. Shine here.
So, if we just everybody gets back a little and everybody gets a chance. Yeah. So we know what everybody wants, so we just yeah.
Vanessa, Helena, come to you. Can we make some? Come on, guys.
Können wir alle mal 10 Meter zurückgehen? Wäre das okay?
She's such a good baby.
Jetzt are beauty.
What do we
Greta has left.
The oceans are rising and so are we. 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 Hello everyone, it's so cool to see you all here today. Do you have anything you want to say to all the people here?
Hey, don't touch me, yeah.
Davos ist eine schöne Stadt, da lohnt es sich zu leben. Doch jedes Jahr ist WEF und da sind wir dagegen.
Jungs, die verstehen das alle nicht, Alter.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice to live here, but every year again there's a DAVOS forum and we don't like it. Okay, hey, hey!
Warum bin ich Nordische?
Fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey!
Boah, der Bereicher. Bitte.
Ich glaube, wir müssen mal irgendwie, well, we need global leaders to act now. We're at the most exclusive event ever, and nobody's doing anything. So we're think we need to do the whole, which is, ask them, please do something. Sorry, can we, like, because I think they're speaking over there. I think it's, guys, sorry, but we have speeches over here. Like, it's a, there, can we, sorry, please. Sorry, but you have to kind of move back her. Everyone,
Sorry. Guys, please move back again. Please, we need some distance. Please, we need. Please, we need roughly 3-4 meters of distance. Please.
Danke, Alden, noch mal ganz weit, ganz danke. Noch weiter, das ist sorry, I guess what you have to yeah, but sorry, but thank you, but it's amazing.
Okay, Luisa, whoever's speaking gets the mic. We'll use the mic for speaking so everybody gets a good sound.
Come on, let's get a bit closer, everyone, to each other. Closer with everyone.
Stay here, please. Everyone is
Wir sind heute hier versammelt. Wir sind aus Davos, aber nicht nur aus Davos, sondern aus der ganzen Welt, weil wir wollen, dass auch unsere Stimmen gehört werden. Stimmen, die sonst nicht gehört werden, wie hier am WEF. Und wir haben etwas zu sagen, und zwar, wir schauen nicht weiter zu und wir akzeptieren nicht, wie ihr weiterhin unsere Welt zerstört. We're here today because we want the people who are taking part at the WEF to know that we will not longer accept what they do, how they exploit our world and the people living here. So we're not longer looking away.
Should we talk about the letter? Yeah. You want to talk about the letter? Yeah. Can you hold it? Yeah, I can hold it.
Okay, wunderbar. Hello everyone, again. So this is another WEF where world leaders meet to discuss the status quo. And what we see this year at the WEF is definitely that
That's one step we can actually see. They have learned the language. They know when to say climate. They know what has to be green nowadays. They speak of transitions, yet when we look at the numbers, the fossil fuel boom is happening everywhere. The destruction is happening everywhere. When we look at the business plans of the fossil fuel industry worldwide, most of them are planning to expand, and governments are allowing them to do so. And so one clear message today, of course, is if we let fossil fuel industries and their investors get to decide when the fossil fuel era will come to an end, there will not be an end of the fossil fuel era. Those lines will have to be drawn by the people who say enough is enough when it comes to destructions. This line is being drawn by the people right now who defend livelihoods against the fossil fuel interests, against the lobbyists, against their funders. And here at the WEF this year in 2023 in Davos, again, some of the dirtiest industries and their funders are meeting. And they don't want to hear this, but their time has come. And their future doesn't belong to the fossil fuel interests and those who are destructing as much as they can. And because this cannot be said clearly enough, we've written an cease and desist notice to the fossil fuel CEOs meeting here in Davos this year. Our notice has been signed over 850,000 times by now, and we're clearly calling for an end of fossil fuel expansion. We are calling for an end of fossil fuel project. We are calling for an end of funding of fossil fuels. And that is not a radical activist's opinion. That is actually what the International Energy Agency says too. There cannot be any new fossil fuel project happening anywhere around the world. So we're calling for CEOs of the fossil fuels and their investors and funders this year to end the expansion. It's because we know that just talking to them and expecting them to act won't bring the change that we need, as we turn clearly to the people to join us everywhere to defend and fight for climate justice, to defend lives and livelihoods against the fossil fuel destructions. And we are seeing people everywhere, really around the world, rising as we speak. Yeah, do you wanna?
I'm gonna read the letter, the notice to cease and desist to fossil fuel CEOs. This cease and desist notice is to demand that you immediately stop opening any new oil, gas, or coal extraction sites. And stop blocking the clean energy transition we also urgently need. No.
That's right.
You want to take my book and hold it?
Hello? Yeah.
So you no, okay.
Yeah.
We know that big oil knew for decades that fossil fuels cause catastrophic climate change. We knew that big oil misled the public about basic climate science and risks. We know that big oil deceived politicians with disinformation, sowing doubt, and causing delay. You must end these activities as they are in direct violation of our human right to a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment, your duties of care, as well as the rights of indigenous people. If you fail to act immediately, be advised that citizens around the world will consider taking any and all legal action to hold you accountable, and we will keep protesting in the streets in huge numbers. This has been signed by Vanessa from Uganda, by Greta from Sweden, by myself, Helena from Ecuador, and Luisa from Germany, and 850,000 others around the world, and we're expecting to reach the million soon.
Found that button. So one nice thing about being here is not just as an activist but as a scientist is that the science is abundantly clear. The climate crisis, although discussed
discussed in meetings here is still discussed as something avoidable and something of the future. But the fact is, the climate crisis is here and it is now. The disasters we are seeing around the world are direct consequences of our inaction. And the discussions that we're having at the tables here behind closed doors and boardrooms, where they're talking about the economy, they're talking about industry, they're talking about it as if we live in a world in which those are controllable without directly addressing the climate crisis in this area. If we do not address the climate crisis, it doesn't matter what we do with agriculture, it doesn't matter what we do with the global economy, it doesn't matter how many times we meet here, we're not going to be able to get anything accomplished.
Can we just have your names, please?
Susanna Hancock. From Arctic.
More wanting to say something? Yeah, wonderful. Otherwise,
Sorry. Really good now. It's not possible.
Are you taking pictures now?
No, I'm filming live.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Good morning. I'm called Aisha Siddiqa. I was born and raised in a tribal community in northern Pakistan, and currently I am studying in the United States. This is my first Davos, and one thing I don't think we realize and feel and comprehend in places of such wealth and power and greed is that planet Earth around us is in immense, immense pain. And the delusion of this event is so absolutely ridiculous. It's horrendous. You have people walking around in their suits talking about how they're going to put investments here and there, and they're all artificial. The only real and tangible, actually economic value that we have is our planet. And we are so eager, and we're working so hard to destroy it. The endless expansion models that a lot of these companies are working on are farces. They are operating on delusion. I had a train of thought now. 1 second. My country last year faced one of the most horrific floods in the past century. Among the people affected, tribal communities, rural communities, women and children were the most impacted. The climate crisis, believe it or not, is not a crisis that exists in of itself. It uses all the already pre-existing inequalities and exacerbates them. So what was flooding then resulted in a healthcare crisis, then resulted in a domestic and women's rights crisis, and now it's a hunger crisis. In my country, the average person cannot afford tomatoes. They cannot afford potatoes. They cannot afford grain. And in such a distant reality, you have people, men in suits, determining the reality of others that they don't even consider human, but ascribe numbers to. I don't know what it'll take for us to change the course of history, but it certainly will not happen here, because it hasn't happened here. We are on the outskirts calling for change, because inside, among all of the panels and conferences and whatnot, power is talking to each other and money is talking to each other. There will come a time in the near future, as the science is predicting, that no amount of dollars will be able to fix what is lost and what is broken. We are headed towards extreme catastrophe that is not just material, it is cultural, it is people, it is languages being lost, it is entire histories being lost. That is what is at stake. Humankind is a miracle of a species. We are stories and words and pictures and all the little things we leave behind. That is at stake. And the continuing expansion and investment in artificial economic models is a pathway straight to hell. Thank you.
But it's not, also just adding to that, it's not just people. Where I do work and partially grew up is a part of the Arctic where it is warming 7 times faster than the rest of the world. I'm seeing places that, you know, when I was 5 were frozen. And I was back this year, are liquid water. And the water is not just clean, it's got plastics in it. Our plastics from continents and tens and thousands of kilometers away. We're finding birds that die because they consume the plastics that we have, that we've produced in Asia, we've produced in North America, we've produced around the world. Here in Davos, all of our clothes that we're washing, that gets into the water, and it's killing the ecosystems, and it's killing people, the cultures, and the fish. We're finding fish that the plastics, you see, cutting, you know, fish that people are eating and relying upon, and it's toxic. People have a choice between eating food that they can afford, that is toxic to them and killing them, or food that they cannot afford.
How much of the Arctic has disappeared?
As somebody who, again, focused on the Arctic, we've already lost more than half of the Arctic sea ice. And at the rate at which we're losing sea ice, we're looking at a deficit, a debt of 70 trillion US dollars at just the current rate of our growth. Not talking about the growth that this place in Davos here is discussing. Not talking about adding new coal mines, new oil, new gas. If we're talking about that, we're talking about financial things that we cannot even fathom here.
I just want to comment that it's so exhausting to come to these events. And I don't know if this is clear to everybody, but we're really not doing this for fun. It's really desperating to be here. It's really desperating to have to come all the way from many, very, far away parts of the world. It's not comfortable. It's not fun. And when we say that we want climate action now, we're not just doing it to be recorded on a camera. We're doing it because it's our future, and it's quite desperating to not feel that we will be secure. Like, maybe here in Davos you will, maybe the people that come here will be secure, but not the people where we live. So I don't know how many times we have to say it. Please act now, and we won't stop pressuring it. In every event, we will be exhausted. We will come from wherever we are from. We will sleep in the cold, but we will be here screaming and shouting for people to act. I'm Amalia Garces from Brazil.
Can you repeat that?
Amalia Garces from Brazil.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
'Cause the people got the power.
'Cause the people got the power.
Tell me, can you feel it?
Tell me, can you feel it?
Getting stronger by the hour.
Getting stronger by the hour.
Power!
Power!
People!
People!
Power!
Power!
Woo! What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
When?
Now!
When?
Now!
Woo! The oceans are rising and so are we. The oceans are rising and so are we. The oceans are rising and so are we. The oceans are rising and so are we.
Vanessa, do you want to say something?
By China artists.
Yes? Vanessa.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa Nakate. I am a climate justice activist from Uganda with Fridays for Future and Rise Up movement. This is my third time coming to this place, a place that I've come to understand that it is so disconnected from what is happening on the front lines of the climate crisis. Our leaders are seriously missing our Kairos moment to do something about the climate crisis. Our leaders are missing the Kairos moment to do something about the climate crisis, and we need our leaders to be able to feel what the earth feels, to be able to feel after the communities that are on the front lines, because the fight for climate justice is a fight for compassion. It's a fight for helping those that are suffering some of the worst impacts of the crisis. When we come here and hear discussions about the energy crisis and how we can keep lights on in Europe, I wonder, no one ever talks about how to keep lights on across the African continent, where over 600 million people don't have access to basic electricity. For a moment, we somehow had the world talking about the drought in the Horn of Africa, but now we've moved on from that, and yet this drought continues to impact the lives of over 30 million people across the Horn of Africa. Many children suffering from severe acute malnutrition, many families trying to keep their children alive for the next, the next month, for the next week, for the next hour. The climate crisis is beyond the statistics. It's beyond data points. It is about the people. And that is what we are missing in these conversations. That is what our leaders are missing. That is what these conferences are missing. And we all have a part to play to ensure that we have climate justice. From the media itself, you have a huge responsibility to talk about the experiences of those on the front lines of the climate crisis. But this comes from a place of compassion. This comes from a place of understanding. We need to protect the people that are suffering right now, people that have been suffering for decades, people that are on the front lines of the climate crisis. So we ask our leaders to listen to the science, to listen to those that are being impacted the most, and stop all new investments in fossil fuels, and that is coal, oil, and gas. The IEA has made it very clear. We cannot have any new fossil fuel investment if we are to limit global temperatures below 1.5 degrees Celsius. So that is our message today. Cease and desist and fight for the people that are on the front lines of this crisis. Thank you.
it in the ground, let's keep it in the ground.
Keep it
In the ground, let's keep it in the ground.
keep it
In the ground, let's keep it in the ground.
No more coal, no more oil. Keep the carbon in the soil.
No more coal, no more oil. Keep the carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep the carbon in the soil.
What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Climate justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
When?
Now.
When?
Now.
When?
Now.
We're wrapping up. Yeah. So thank you. You want to say something?
Thank you. Hello? Thank you all for being here today. It was great. I hope you have a safe trip home wherever you come from.
Has it worked yesterday?
In the evening there was a lot.
What do you expect from the governments here in Davos?
Well, right now we are in a human moment. We are choosing the pathway that humanity will go, and that is either a pathway to complete destruction, or it is a pathway to some kind of safety for people, security, freedoms, and healthy living conditions. When we look at the business plans of the fossil fuel industries worldwide, the vast majority of them plans to expand their business. Yet the International Energy Agency, the IPCC, the science is very clear. There cannot be any fossil fuel expansion happening anywhere. So these fossil fuel industries need to be stopped. They will not stop themselves, despite the nice words, despite the sustainability reports. They will not stop until they are being stopped. And that is the role of governments, to draw those lines of destructions. Yet what we see across the globe is governments collaborating with those industry, letting that destruction happening, putting nice words in it, calling it a transition to somewhere, calling it a bridge technology to somewhere. Yet that is a path to complete destruction. So we are here calling for the people to draw that line of destruction.
Do you have the expression that the other crises are overshadowing the fight against climate change?
I think many media and governments and industries decide that they want crisis to overshadow the climate crisis. Yet every other crisis we see is another reason to get rid of fossil fuels. Why are we in an energy crisis in Europe? Because of a dependency of fossil fuels. Why do we have people being hit by catastrophes and experiencing health crises and crisis of injustice and housing? Because we are in a devastating climate crisis. Why are we in a pandemic? Because the way that humanity is treating the planet right now causes pandemics, really resulting from our ways to destruct and destroy and exploit. So in every single crisis out there, you see a reason to swiftly and rapidly move to renewable energies and to an end of destruction.
Anything good that you see in the outcome and the discussions here in Davos at the yeah?
The last time I was here in Davos 2 years ago, the streets were full of signs speaking of climate change and justice. That isn't happening anymore, and in a way maybe
this is a bit more of an honest place now, because people have stopped pretending that this would be the moment where everyone turns around and acts for the climate. We find this place has become a meeting of people discussing how to best protect the status quo and their business as usual. That is maybe an important message for everyone to understand. If we want to see the change, we have to be the change.
Why do you think it is important for you to be here today?
Well, the fossil fuel exploitation needs to end worldwide. It's risking lives. It's putting us on a pathway to complete destruction. Yet fossil fuel industries have made it very clear by now that they're not planning to end the exploitation. They're not planning to destruct everything that we depend on. So they will need to be stopped. And this should be the job of governments. But currently, governments are overwhelmingly failing to stop the fossil fuel destruction, so this is up to the people. So we are mostly outside the WEF. We are, not expecting the people inside to act, but we turn to the people to act.
Can I ask you to answer that in German?
So ja, wir sind in einem Punkt, wo wir wissen, es kann keine neuen fossilen Projekte weltweit mehr geben. Kein neues Gasfeld, keine neuen Ölfelder, keine neue Kohlemine. Wenn wir uns aber angucken, was die fossilen Industrien vorhaben, dann planen die allermeisten von ihnen weiter zu expandieren, weiter auszubeuten. Das heißt, sie müssen gestoppt werden. Ihre Businesspläne sehen vor, dass es immer weitergeht. Und irgendwer muss Linien ziehen und sagen, hier ist die Grenze erreicht, genug ist genug. Und weil das gerade Regierungen nicht machen, weil viele Regierungen nicht den Mut haben, sich gegen die fossilen Industrien zu wenden, blicken wir hier auf die Gesellschaft und auf die Zivilgesellschaft, auf die Menschen überall, ihrer Verantwortung gerecht zu werden und zu verstehen, ja, wir haben die Möglichkeiten und wir haben auch die Macht, wenn wir zusammenkommen, diese Zerstörung zu beenden und für Freiheiten zu kämpfen und Sicherheiten und intakte Lebensgrundlagen für alle.
And just another question, do you think this movement is still as important as it is today? It still has the same impact that it had a couple of years ago? Do you think there's still that positive impact, or do you think it can actually move things forward?
In German or in English?
Both, please. In English first.
Well, it's saddening to see that the movements are still necessary, that we are not demanding anything else but what governments around the world have promised for a long time. So it shouldn't be necessary that anyone stands up to demand what governments have promised. That would be my basic understanding of how democracies work. We, put people into positions of power to deliver on what they promised. So we're still here, we're still doing it, and I think what is so striking to see across the globe is that movements are really growing together. Movements of social justice, of generational justice, of racial justice, of environmental justice. These are coming together over the crisis that concern all of us. And that is, I guess, a very, very empowering and important message for everyone. People are there and not going anywhere because we have just so much to lose and even more to win.
And now in German, please. Sorry.
Es ist dramatisch, dass es die Bewegung und vor allem die Klimabewegung immer noch braucht. Wir fordern nichts anderes, als dass Regierungen ihre eigenen Versprechen einhalten. Und dass es überhaupt irgendwer und gerade junge Leute sich hinstellen müssen, um das einzufordern, ist eine Absage der Regierung an ihre eigene Verantwortung. Das wäre mein Grundverständnis von Demokratien, dass Regierungen ihre Versprechen einhalten, für die sie auch gewählt wurden, für die sie in diese Machtposition überhaupt erst gekommen sind. Und weil es aber nicht passiert, sind wir eben hier, und das Schöne und Hoffnungsvolle ist, dass wir sehen, dass weltweit Bewegungen zusammenwachsen. Gerechtigkeitsbewegungen, feministische Bewegungen, indigene Bewegungen und Klimabewegungen, sie kommen alle zusammen, weil die Krisen zusammenhängen, weil wir zeigen, wie Solidarität aussehen kann und verstehen, dass viele der Dinge, die wir in der Welt sehen müssen, sich verändern müssen, Krisen gleichermaßen betreffen.
Have you gotten any signs from the global elite that they hear you? Has there been any kind of dialogue here at the World Economic Forum of some sort?
German or English?
English is fine.
Well, I think what we're seeing really is that no one here is too shy to for big words. Yeah, what we're missing is to have action. And sometimes, I'm not sure if the leaders here believe what they tell themselves, because what they say on stages certainly doesn't match when they act on the cameras. Yes, okay, hier. Gut, hier ist.